caressing his arm.
Kensington Palace, just 2 miles from here, is where Harry and Meghan will call home. It's also where author Angela Levin interviewed Harry.
Angela spent over a year with exclusive access to the prince. Her new book is titled Harry, the Biography of a Prince. Perfect timing, Angela. Yes. Congratulations, already a bestseller here.
Thank you.
Tell me about this year of unprecedented access. How did you get that?
Well, it took me patience and perseverance. 5 months to get the okay to join him on the first royal outing. I was interviewed by people that went up the chain. Why do I want to do it and all this? What's my aim? I thought that through and I said, he's been a terrible rebel. He's done all the things he shouldn't have done. And I think he's settling down, that he's more responsible. And we haven't really noticed that. I see signs. And the guy looked at me and he said, "You're spot on." Yes. So that was the first hurdle. So I went with him, and after I'd done the first one, I got invited to other ones where he was going. I could follow him. And during the year, I kept very politely saying, well, you know, I'd love an interview with Harry. No, he doesn't do interviews. Please, can I have an interview with Harry? No. So that went 5 times. And then suddenly they said, are you free Tuesday afternoon at 2:30? So, yes.
Wow.
They said, he'll do an interview with you. But
what had changed that all of a sudden you got the nod?
I didn't ask. I thought it's best not to ask, right? So I went there and they said to me 20 minutes, which as you know is no time.
Right.
So I thought I've got to come up with a question that will knock him for 6, make him realise I really want to get to the depths of who he is. So I thought about it, went in, sat down. I said, Your Royal Highness, I followed you for a year and I've seen how brilliant you are with people who are damaged in some way, physically, psychologically, whatever age, whatever type, children from dysfunctional homes, soldiers from the army who've been badly wounded. I'd like to know if you also use the occasions to work through therapy for yourself and that's helping you deal with your burdens. So there was a silence and I thought, I'm out the room, you know, because the prince can go at any time. And he waited, it seemed like ages, and then he said, wow, that is a big question. Silence. And then he said, you're right, of course. And then it was, the ice was broken. We had a really good conversation. I think he realized I didn't want to ask him about holidays or royal trips or his blue suede shoes that he liked to wear nearly all the time. It was going to be something that was going to touch him profoundly and let him express himself. Yeah. And so that was really good. And then I went back for another one and, you know,
he liked you. You won him over.
You got inside.
So.
You got inside the heart.
That's what I like to do. I like to touch the soul. I really like to touch the soul.
And did you see a change? Oh, hang on, the sirens are coming, Nat. We've been spotted. Hide into the fastness. What about, did you see a change with Meghan? Did you see anything different with him?
I saw it huge. It was like, you know, someone, you know, the sort of joke where you go down and then you go up and you're smiling. That's what he was. He was smiling, he was happy, he was relaxed, he was tingling with whatever it is that you tingle with when you've fallen in love at the beginning, you know, it's just so amazing.
When did you know that he was in love? Did you get a sense before? I mean, the story is they started dating beginning of July 2016.
Yeah, I'll tell you exactly what it was. That I said to this team, is there anything you really don't want me to talk about? Not that I might not, but I wanted to know. I didn't want to get into trouble afterwards. And they said, you can talk about anything but Meghan, you see. So I thought to myself, and it clicked in my head, right or wrong, that he was crazy about her. But if he said it and proposed a few weeks later and she said no thanks, like other girls may have done because they couldn't cope with the spotlight, the press spotlight, then he would feel such an idiot because that would really make a good story. So I thought, I'm not going to say anything because I think that this is the one. Otherwise he'd say, oh yeah, she's great, or she's fine, or she's fun. He wouldn't talk about it.
Protecting her and himself.
He was protecting, yeah.
Had he proposed to Cressida or Chelsea? Do we know about that?
I don't.
Hold that. That's what we call a tease, Angela.
We've got more with author Angela Levin coming up.
Is she the cutest? Look how sweet. You're coming out with us tonight, Angela.
The first time I cried was at the funeral on the island, and that was probably like, and only since then maybe once. So there's a lot of grief that still needs to be let out.
Prince Harry right there opening up about the death of his mom, Princess Diana, on the HBO special Diana, Our Mother, Her Life and Legacy, which aired last summer, leading up to the 20th anniversary of her passing.
Well, we have been speaking with author Angela Levin. Her book is titled Harry, a biography of a prince. She had unprecedented access to Harry, and you talked to him at length about losing his mother at such a young age. And of course, what stands in our minds and what we will always hold is that indelible image of him walking behind the coffin and then placing his hand on it.
Yes.
What did he say about that to you?
Well, it was very interesting because I hadn't got to his mother yet. You know, I was planning it in my head and I wasn't sure, I didn't want to upset him. And he suddenly stopped talking to me, went very quiet, a sort of dark cloud went over his face. And he said, you know, it was a terrible thing that they made me walk behind my mother's coffin. They shouldn't have done that in front of thousands of people lining the streets and millions watching on television from around the world. And I don't think they would do that today. And it was a terrible thing. Now, I remember the funeral, and I remember seeing him with his brother, Prince William, with his father, Prince Charles, with his grandfather, Prince Philip, and his uncle, Lord Spencer, and thinking, it looks appropriate. It must be hard, but it looks appropriate. But when he said that to me, I thought, he's absolutely right. You know, how could anybody make a child is anguishing about his mother
he was 12,
behind
not being able to cry too, right?
No,
The
he was
Queen wouldn't
determined.
allow
He said
tears?
to me, no, he said, he didn't like the public being there, all who were weeping and wailing. He couldn't take the weeping and wailing. They don't know her, they've never met her, and I was determined not to cry in front of them. It was a sort of, I'm not going to let them defeat me. And he held his hands very tight and he went like this to show me. And he just managed to keep his tears back. And he said, I now cannot cry. The lingering effect is that I cannot cry in front of people. Isn't that terrible?
And when I think about that, again, I just think of his age, and I think about his mom. I think everybody does as we're leading up to the wedding. And you were writing in there that Meghan sort of has a motherly quality towards him.
She does, and I think that's very nice for someone who's lost their mother that early. And the royal family isn't like a normal family. They don't do hugs. The Queen's all stiff upper lip. Prince Charles is stiff upper lip. And to have someone who's not at all like that, very effusive with their emotions. But Harry really feels his mother's with him. He feels she's there for him. He's sort of freeze-framed her at 36. Meghan's 36, so it's quite extraordinary.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, so he thinks of her, and he said that, you know, she's jumping up and down because of the wedding, but she's 20 years older in a way, you know. But that's what you do when somebody dies too young. And he feels that she's showing him his path, and he's doing the things that she wanted to do, like HIV and AIDS and landmines, and he's following that. And he thinks she's guiding him. But he also is very pleased that she was very naughty, mischievous, and he's got that same streak. And she wants him to carry on being a bit mischievous.
He's naughty. He's naughty. And he's also a good hugger. He insisted on telling you.
Yes, he said to me out the blue as well. He said, you know, I'm very good at hugging. And I thought that was so sweet from somebody, 33-year-old man, to say that. It's like a little child would say that, really, but he's not a child, but he just feels that he wants to be like his mother in as many ways. He feels close to her, he's got similar characteristics of intuition and empathy and all that, and he knows she's going to be there for the wedding. He just knows it in his head. It's very, very moving, very.
I love that, a tight hugger, hugger and emotional, and so he doesn't cry anymore. I'm finding this
No, he won't cry in front of other people in public. He won't cry in public. What he does at home, I don't know. I think he's a very emotional guy. I don't know what he does, but he won't let the public win because he wants his private life. And I think he feels that that's something that is what you do privately.
It was taken from him, for sure. Angela, so
Oh,
lovely to meet you. We could talk to you all day. We'll have to do it over tea and toddies next time.
Thank you.
Harry, a biography of a prince is available now. It's a wonderful book.
Okay, great to see you.